I wasn't going to be a real estate agent. They poached me. I said, not a chance in hell. Matt's business partner, Chris, said, mate, you have to come and work for me. He goes, you're coming to work for me. And I said, I just finished my degree. And he goes, you'll be good at real estate. And I said, not a chance. Everybody hates real estate agents. That was it. And then I loved it. I enjoy understanding people and I like to win. Like every day, we're pitching for this listing at the moment and I actually feel like I'm on a battlefield.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend. What an intro. Jordan Bulmer, come on down.
Woo! Woo!
All right, that's the show. Thanks. Do we need to do anything else? So I've got Jordan here with me. Jordan's one of the top real estate agents at McGrath. I would say not just McGrath Terrigal, McGrath Central Coast, McGrath Australia. You're kind of a bit of the bee's knees in real estate right now. Mate, welcome. I don't think I need to introduce you any more than that. Do your own intro, mate.
That's my intro. We sell a lot of houses.
Well, I like it. What sort of houses do you sell?
Well, I'm lucky to work with Matt. Most people know Matt Steinwede. He's been around for a long, long time. But our BDA, which we call it in real estate, which is our area, it's pretty much 2260, but Wombrel predominantly Terrigal, upper end homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how upper end do you go? Like, give me a scale of property that you're selling right now.
Well, I just don't want to get anybody offside going like, we done this, we done that, we
true,
did this,
good
we done
point.
that. But we've got like highest sale. Well, it's the previous highest sale on the Central Coast, highest lagoon sale, highest beachfront sale, highest acreage sale, Terrigal, highest apartment sale on the Central Coast. There's a couple of other good operators in the upper end, but like we would have most of the records. We just sold Jake and Jenna House, Jenna Hawkins. So it's a fun ride. Like it's really good. Yeah. And the good thing about real estate is get to meet people like you and everybody that I sit in the lounge room with. It's just every conversation is fascinating. I'm just like, what is going to happen here today? Which is very cool. I wasn't going to be a real estate agent. They poached me. I said, not a chance in hell. Like,
because you got a marketing degree, don't you? I did a bit of research.
Yeah.
So marketing degree to real estate, how?
I did a business degree and then I was buying my first investment property at 18 and then Matt's business partner, Chris, said, mate, you have to come and work for me because I called him and said, do you know Chris Smith?
Yes, I do.
Lots of properties. He's got like 25 properties.
Partner as well?
Yeah, he's a partner. He was the only guy that I knew with lots of properties.
Yeah, sure.
And then we were working on it, what to buy, and then he goes, you're coming to work for me. And I said, I just finished my degree. And he goes, you'll be good at real estate. And I said, not a chance. Everybody hates real estate agents, which they do.
You're all right, mate.
Hopefully. I tried to be like the least real estate agency as possible, but that was it. And then I loved it. I like the thrill of, I enjoy understanding people and I like to win. Like every day, we're pitching for this listing at the moment and I actually feel like I'm on a battlefield.
Yeah.
You do it all the time too.
Yeah. Why do you like to win? What is it about winning that excites you? Like for me, winning's more about a personal challenge. It's more about like becoming better personally through that winning, not necessarily winning to dominate or to beat people. I think that's something I used to do.
Did you play sports growing up?
Played sports, was never like an A grade sports person.
What sports?
Played football when I was younger, played league, then got into surfing and I was pretty studious at school. So I kind of took a bit of a backpedal in sports in school, and then ironically have really picked it up in my sort of later 20s and into my 30s.
So when did you start this business? Because I walked in here today and you just said to me, you're looking after a friend of mine and an owner in the company. And I think, and I've heard a lot about you from lots of people, like Ash Hockham's a very good friend of mine, like the Sullivans, lots of people your name's popped up in for years. So I've been looking forward to actually chatting to you, but it's very rare that a young guy like you is managing very successful people's money. That intrigues me a lot because I'm like, you normally got to get a lot of scars and you've probably built a lot of wealth too, but there's a lot of very, very successful people that trust you to manage their wealth, which I'm like, how good's that?
And I think, God, you're smooth, mate. I like this.
But it's
He's
true.
smooth.
It's true.
God, maybe I need to go to real estate.
But because I'm looking in the mirror going, I've got people
like
in my
this. This is
industry
fun.
that have been selling houses for 30 years, and I'm like the young guy on the block with good energy going, don't worry about their 30 years experience. I can manage your money better. And you got a 50-year-old or a 60-year-old or a 70-year-old with a $7 million property going, do I give it to the young guy or do I give it to Mr. Scars over here with the too big suit, like with the shoes that haven't been polished? I'm sure he knows a lot, but
All good.
yeah, because that's what it is.
So
it's like,
So I resonate with that a lot. I'm a bit older than you. I know I probably look younger because I moisturise regularly.
Can I ask you how old you are?
36, mate.
Yeah, you look good for 36.
Thank you, appreciate that. So I'm not quite 50 yet, mate. And I think you're 28 from memory.
27.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So I've got a couple of years on you. When I was your age at 27, I was the youngest partner in a very, very big top 10 accounting firm. And what I very quickly realised, which I think you're realising right now, is age is completely irrelevant. I actually think you have a more competitive advantage by being the age you are because of your energy levels. And because you're the chief energy officer kicking around here, mate, you should be able to outwork people. You should be able to outwork people. I'm assuming no kids just yet?
No.
No kids yet. Like high energy, high physicality, good mental state, starting to immerse yourself in real personal development. I think, mate, you should be the one getting that deal.
So do you think you got to partnership at that age just from a work ethic?
I wasn't just a work ethic. It was a combination of work ethic and understanding the skill sets and capabilities I needed to succeed. So yes, I had work ethic, like I was willing to work, but the work I was ultimately doing was accounting work.
Did you like it?
No.
No.
I liked what was a higher level above it. So if you look at a real estate...
So do you... Sorry to jump in.
You're
I'm just
right.
trying to understand this.
Yeah.
So did you do a degree in accounting? Right. Yeah, understand.
So a bit of backstory. A degree in accounting and tax, went into university, wanted to do marketing similar to yourself, saw all the other accountants in the room, said I can dominate this, right? And it's numbers based, which is a correlation to wealth. So went and did that for a short period of time, but realised what that whole industry was missing was the ability to sell. Like there were no sales guys, no accountants were extroverts. They were very introverted. And
I was just about to say that. So
I knew
bizarre
I knew I could take
that you've
it.
got both. Like, because normally analytical people don't have great people skills.
Yeah.
And the opposite way around.
Yeah.
Like I'm like dyslexic pretty much. I half don't even remember addresses, but you've got the blend of both. Like you've got the numbers, but you also, are you an extrovert?
I am.
Yeah.
I am. I think it comes down to like, I got the baseline, I got the numbers and the taxes in a very basic form. And I did my time, I paid my dues, it took me a couple of years to do that, right? And then I knew where I could take that because I had the other side. I had the desire to sell. I had the desire to understand psychology, marketing. And I knew if I could take that skill set, which most people's biggest limitation is they don't understand money, and I could move it into more empowering domains like sales and marketing and moving people, I knew it could make a massive difference.
So how do you get these customers? Like, how are you getting these
When I was your age, I had not one customer. So I made partner after a year and a half working in an accounting firm as a senior accountant, having no client experience. And I knew I didn't want to be an accountant. I knew I wanted to give more advice, and I wanted to sell. And so what I did is I put myself in the position you would have. And I was like, I'm going to get clients. Like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. If I've got to do it for free, I'll do it for free. But I'm going to get that experience because I know I can move people. And that's when you get the most clients because your intention is so good, your energy is so good, and you genuinely...
Were you calling?
I was calling. I was
Like,
cold
were you
calling.
saying,
I was in
Geordie,
an accounting firm
cold
with
calling?
a cold calling list that was like circa 200 people a day getting pure no's.
Saying what?
Just saying so I was saying it wrong. That's the answer. I was saying it wrong. I was like, hey, Bill Smith, like, I want to do your accounting. I'm here to help, whatever it needs. Hang up.
Yeah.
Hey, who was some? Back in the Quattro Cafe over there, I was like, hey guys, can I look after your affairs? No, we've got a long-standing relationship. Just getting no's. I was so good at getting no's. The confidence went down. And then I started to go, okay, what if I just help people for nothing? Like, just to help them. And then you find people start to reach out for help because there's nothing to lose for them, right? And so I started helping people with for example, disadvantaged children, that needed certain funding from NDIS. Projects like that, just ways I could help. And then very, very quickly, which you'll appreciate, your reputation kind of goes bang. And you become known, your brand becomes known for helping people with good intent to get a result. And I think that grows so exponentially and so fast. And that's obviously what you're doing right now. You got the good energy, you got the charisma, you got the desire to help and the love for property, which started at 18, and you're out there helping people. So I'm keen to know about you, how you're making such a profound difference right now on the coast, because it's definitely known, because at the end of the day, we reached out to you and said, jump on the podcast, you're doing really well. What's enabling you to get out there and create those contacts right now and those connections and do such a great job at doing it?
I think it's the same, but just in another industry. I don't think there's anybody that would work harder than me in our industry. I honestly believe that, apart from Matt, but I actually think he's got something wrong with his brain. I honestly do. I think there's something's changed. He never gets tired. He texted me this morning at 2:00 saying, can you do an emails? I get tired like any normal person. I actually do.
Emails, yeah.
I get up early, but I get up at 4 and my day starts from then. But last night it's 8:06 and I'm like, I can't keep my eyes open. I've been home from work for 5 minutes. So I'm a normal person. I just work harder.
Yes.
I just choose to, when my friends are going to a party on a Friday night, I'll sit in the office and make sure my auctions are set up correctly.
Yeah.
It's just, real estate's different because every month I'm unemployed.
Yeah.
You're the same as a business owner. It's did a great month last week. It's first of the month, I'm unemployed. Out we go again. But the good thing is there's none of that sleazy salesman thing, because we do so much business. It doesn't really matter. We're always doing well. It's the people that list one property that gives everybody a bad name, and they got to feed their kids, which I understand, and they jam people into a deal, an owner and a buyer, and the experience is that yuck that it just trickles through the industry. But I think it's changing. I really do. But I've just been exactly what you said, the real estate guy, anything. And the good thing about putting my bandwagon onto Matt, that in itself has just absolutely moved my career faster than I couldn't believe, because every time I get a client of his, I'm like, how do I impress them? Fast. He's got a client at the moment, Steve. Last night I'm texting him boom, what do you need? You could send me anywhere. If you said I need you to go to Melbourne to pick up a water bottle, I'm boom, in the car. Drove a commitment letter to Sydney at 4:00 on Wednesday morning. We drop a newspaper to a client's property with says we're really keen to get your business. We're here. We're attacking the day. There's lots of things that we do, but I just think it's just a work game. I really do.
I think as well, where the market has gone, there's a lot of scarcity that's starting to infiltrate people's psychology, mainly real estates, because they're going, there's not enough stock, markets are declining, how are we going to sell? And 12 months ago, it was completely different. They thought it was a more abundant state of mind. Now, I respect where you're coming from. You're it doesn't matter what market we're in, we're here to help people, and we're gonna outwork anyone. And I think that's a great way to be, and that's when you become not just a real estate agent or not just an accountant, rather you become someone that's going to go out there, knock down doors, not knock down doors because they have to feed their family, but knock down doors because they can know they can make a difference in any market. And I think that's what
people buy and sell in every market.
Yeah.
It doesn't just 2 years. Everybody goes, I'm not going to buy and sell property.
And I like that. I didn't completely sort of look at everything that you're doing right now, mate.
Yeah.
I did do a bit of investigating, and I saw that when I looked the other day on your profile, that you said something that resonated a lot with me. I really liked it, and it made me feel really good coming into this session. It said, we help people buy and sell real estate. And that's what I think stuck with me, that this podcast, and what you're doing is you're not just a real estate agent.
Yeah.
You're connecting people in property. Like the guys that want to buy great property, which I know because I have mutual clients that have used you guys to buy property, that then they've ultimately then sold that property. Like you're able to help people connect to property. So
that's what it is. We're marketing and negotiation companies. That's it. Everything else could be done. Anyone can sell a house too. We're there to maximise price and give advice. That's it. Like anyone can manage their money. Some people just manage it better than others. We just sell properties better than others because that's what we do. Yeah. Like people say to me all the time, last year, oh, well, the market's that good, we'll just sell our own house. And I was like, well, do you know why you use an agent? They're like, no. I'm like, to separate the emotion. Like, if you just negotiated every day for the last 10 years, do you think you'd be better at it than me if I never did? And they go, yeah. I'm like, well, that's why I use an agent.
Yeah. And I think in any industry, but in your industry, it's probably more exacerbated where they see, oh, it's a 2.5% commission fee on a property worth $3 million. Why would I do that? How can I circumvent that? But I think the issue is that what about the 10% you're leaving on the table by not having the negotiation handled without emotions being there? And I think that's the pitch, right?
What gaps do you see in the real estate market? If you were in real estate today as a young guy, what would you do?
If I was a real estate guy, I like for me personally, because of what my passion and my purpose and the thing that lights me up is, I would really spend a lot of time and education educating. So I would be, because I know how to educate and because I know how to sell, and usually they go hand in hand, is I would be out there not educating one-on-one, to clients, because I think that's just not enough energy in enough places at once. I would be out there going, hey, this is the impact of getting good advice. This is the impact of getting good negotiation.
How does that look?
So...
Do you mean like a conference?
Yeah, like conferences, like group live events.
Do you do this for your business now?
Yes.
Yeah, and it works.
And it works. It's called scaled advice. So one-on-one advice I've loved doing for so many years, and it's enabled me to get like a lot of clientele that I can help. It's also limited by the thing that's overarching most of us, which is time. So I think when you can...
So how do you get the pool of people?
I think you've already got them.
No, how do you get them?
Yeah.
Do you post on social on Thursday at 5 p.m. I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live. Please join. You might get whatever amount of people, and then you've got a topic, and then people join, and then you just boom.
So very similar to that, we've got the guy behind the scenes right now who does a lot of content posting. God love him, Andrew. He's a gun at what he does. So he does do consistent content. We leverage, I suppose, we leverage group environment as well. So we have, for example, we have Facebook groups, not just Facebook pages, Facebook groups. We have group coaching that we do as well within this business, which is multiple business owners at once getting coached. So the answer, we also have just respective pages, like Facebook, not groups, but just pages that are specific to a type of business owner. So the answer is in this world, you've got billions and billions of people, and then of those billions and billions of people, there's a certain amount of people that really want the education, want the guidance, want the advice, and ultimately what you have to give to really help them make a significant difference in their property selection and their property sale or buying, purchasing power. So what I'm saying is you need to group these people in. You need to filter them into spaces. If those spaces are like you said in terms of conferences, that's amazing. If they're regular Facebook Live events every 2 weeks, that's great. I think they're naturally doing that with you and Matt on your podcast already, is people that are picking up what you're putting down are starting to move into your space, listening to what you have to say, and that's obviously... or it's probably not obviously, but it's starting to then enable you to even get more traction, more deals, more awareness because they're coming into your environment. I think you're doing it already.
The podcast, well, I'm always interested to know, like when you're in the mix of it all, it's very hard to clearly see everything. Like you can look at my business from a helicopter view and you don't know it like perfectly, but you could probably go, well, you could do this or could do that. That's why I asked. But the podcast, it's really funny. Like, aren't people funny? When we started the podcast, the podcast, why would they start a podcast? Like, dumb. No one's going to listen to them, rah, rah, rah. Podcast was the best thing we ever did. Did nothing for 6 months. We were just brave. We just kept talking. And it's huge. We get listings from it all the time. Like, because when people refer to our area, they just go, well, just speak to Matt and Geordie. It's the best. And Matt's very passionate about it. He's kind of reached what he needed to do in real estate, and he's like, that's his next journey a bit. And I'm just thankful that I can be on it too. But it's done massive things for us, the podcast, which has been great. But I have a lot of trouble as a young person in business because, and I'm going to lead into this, because it's a lot of like, fuck that guy. Like when you're giving it a crack. Did you find that too? Like through your 20s and 30s?
100%.
Because you naturally not meaning to, but you do polarize people.
Of course you do.
Because it's like, it does reflect back on them. I'm not doing anything. So I'm just naturally going to go.
I've had these comments, and I'm happy to say it because I come from a place of honesty with what I do. And I had clients, right, come to me and say, oh, you know, are you too busy right now for us? Like, because you've got the podcast and everything else going on. I'm like, that's insanity. Like, it's absolute insanity. It's like, because you take an hour out of your time once a fortnight, right, to go out there with good intent to help people with advice so it can help more people, and automatically the perception is that you're too busy. So I think what I'm trying to say is, you can't listen to the noise. I know it's cliche. It's like, don't listen to other people, don't listen to the haters and all the rest of it, but it's stay true. If you have good intent in doing anything, whether it be educating in property, whether it be helping more people through podcasting, whether it be putting out a bit of content because you really think it's going to move the right person, stick to your guns because your intentions are so good, and eventually you will just have the right people. The haters or the ones that don't appreciate your intent to what you're doing, that's for them. That's their own judgment problems. That's their own egos at play.
I had a guy, you might know him, I won't mention his name, very, very successful. He goes to me, do you want their life? I go, no. He goes, do you know them personally? He goes, no. He goes, do you respect them? I said, no. He goes, then why would you listen to them?
Seriously?
He goes, if I said something to you, would you listen? I said, of course. I completely respect you. I would like to get to your level of success one day. He's like, that's when you should be listening. And all the time I think of that, like if I see something, because it happens, the bigger your brand gets, the more that comes in. Good, bad, everything in between.
Sure.
And I like look at it like, do I want their life? Like, do they even know me? Like, and I go through that in my brain. I'm like, cool, because I park it. Because naturally, you want to be liked. Like, I want to be liked.
Yeah, sure.
Like, it's just natural.
And here's the thing. I think you've got better chance of being liked when you're yourself.
Yeah, you just...
Like, that's the truth. So if you... Like, whenever I've done, podcasts or I've done talks or I've done anything with multiple people, the old me would have been like, what are they going to think of me? What if I say this word wrong? What if I I don't, speak the right way? And you kind of go into this, like, this analytical, accountant-like thinking mind, and I just don't do that now. I'm like, come from a good place, be real, be honest, and...
Be consistent,
and
go.
Be consistent, and if they don't like you, well, they don't like you. And you can't make them like you because you're just being who you are. So I do think you've... And a lot of people say, oh, I don't really care what they all think of me. Well, you do.
Can I ask you another question? It's a bit off, but... Me, I'm like always thinking in my 20s, how do I build my wealth as fast as I can? I believe that the key to building wealth is income. That's number one. Just get really good at something and try and increase your income as much as possible. But if you were in your 20s again, knowing what you know now, what would you be doing, like to start investing?
If I was in my 20s again, if I was your age...
Because there's probably a lot of people listening to this that are looking up to you going like, I'm 23 or I'm 25 or I'm 27... and I'm not completely sure where to start in investing. I'm interested to know as well what you think.
I would say two things would be top of mind. The first would be most people at 20, 23, 19, 18, but they don't believe it's possible. A large chunk of people that come through this door as 35-year-olds or 40-year-olds just don't think it's possible. They don't know mechanically how to buy and make money on property, how to accumulate real wealth, right? And so they go, I just don't know how to do it. My parents don't know how to do it, so it's not real. It's not in the paradigm, right? I would say if I was an 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old, 25-year-old, it doesn't matter. Go find someone that knows how to do it, stay close to them, scram a marketing degree, right, and go and work for a real estate, whatever it takes to put yourself in a position where you're surrounded by the guys that are doing it until you connect enough of the dots and you're like, cool, I get how it's done. Because for me, that started as about a 23 and a half, 23-year-old, right? Because I was in that position. My parents never made heaps of money on property, but I was in the accounting space, which was the wealth space, which had enough dealings of property going around, and I had enough financial understanding that I could connect the dots to make money on property, and that's where I've made all my money, is in property.
You're only in property?
Wealth,
do you dabble in shares or crypto or anything like that?
I do, but ultimately, I'm very pro on property.
Just because you know it?
Because because I know the share game, and I know the crypto game, and I know I invest myself and my clients in managed funds, so I'm very competent in the other asset classes, but I stay true to property because of the little thing that I'm very passionate, and it's common in anything we put out, is leveraging debt. Like it's just what I know, it's just what I believe in, and it's just what's got me to where we are from a net.
Around here, is that where you like to buy?
I like to do both. Like, that's the answer. Diversify. Just to do both. Like, I like all realms of property. I like a simple investment property that you do nothing with, that's geared the right way, and I also have an appetite for flipping property and doing development. So it's a bit of.
Can I ask you a personal question about me?
Can.
So I've got, because I'm interested
I
to
like
know.
that one. I've got one more point to make as well, but
Can you help me? So I've got 2 properties in the Hunter Valley,
Yeah.
both positively geared. That's where I started when I didn't have a massive income, because I wanted them to just take care of themselves. But the maintenance on them drives me a bit crazy. But sometimes I forget. Like this year, I looked, there was $10,000 in the bank account, and everything's just been paid for. So I'm like, cool. They just don't grow very much. But that was where I started, with not a lot of experience. I've got 2 apartments, one in Terrigal, one in Avoca now,
Yes.
which is good because they're good capital growth positions, and I know the market like anything. I know that market so well, so I'm comfortable there. But now I'm like, what next? Like, I don't know what next, because I'm like, I don't really feel like I need another property here. I don't want to go to the Hunter Valley market again. I don't know shares, I don't know crypto, so it would be silly for me to try and play that game if I don't know it. But what is next for me, do you think?
So I think what's next for you is like that's up to your appetite.
Because I may have a choice in the next few years to buy into the business as well. Like, there's lots of things on my mind. Like, do I invest in McGrath as a company?
Yeah.
Do I just... Because a lot of real estate agents have done... There's a real estate agent in Sydney who I love. He never become a partner. He never started a business. Yeah. He got a really good split. He pulled a lot of money risk-free out of the company, and he bought assets. Matt, as another example, has one very, very expensive property and all of his money in the business. And I think, like, which is better? And I know it's a case-by-case situation. Like, he got pushed to build the business in his 20s or whatever because he just had to. But I don't know. Like, I'm asking you.
So I'm gonna try and get all these elements and wrap them into an answer as best as I can. So what I would be doing is I would be saying it doesn't matter whether you have 10 properties or you have 1 property or you have 3 properties. The ultimate end in mind questioning that you need to be doing is where can I invest to get the best return, knowing the market, okay, knowing the different types of structures of investment you can do as well, because you can do the hold property, don't do much with it and rent it out, or you can start to do creative stuff as well, because I know you're in that circle where you can developing, yeah, buying, all the rest of it. So I would say find out where you can get the greatest return or rate of return or percentage return. Keep working on your servicing, which is your income, how much money you're making, okay, because obviously that helps you stack up with a bank for more lending and more allowance for debt. And keep rolling that train. Like, I don't ever say that the best strategy in investing is to buy and sell immediately or buy and hold for the long term. It depends whether that property can continue to appreciate and how best you can utilize the equity that's in that property to then leverage into other properties. Or in some instances, it's better to sell because you're able to kind of move more cash into other properties. So my answer to you is, you know the game, you know the property game, you know the market. You got to get your hands on the capital, which is a serviceability thing, which I think you're already super conscious of, because you said that's the number one thing you need to do first is stack up with the banks. And then it's just where's my money best placed for return? Like, and it's not necessarily for return in the next 12 months, but it's going to be where's the best return for the next 5 years, 10 years, and ultimately continuously. And I think you know better than anyone is right now you can go shopping and you'll be able to go shopping for a good amount of time and pick up some really good deals.
There's great deals at the moment.
And it's like, where are the deals going to be? Now, if the deals aren't on the coast, they're not on the coast. If they're somewhere else, well, then you need to get someone like yourself somewhere else that you trust that can help you pick up those deals. And then it's like, what type of deals are you going to be doing? Are you going to be buying and developing, or are you going to be buying and holding? Now, for me personally, I do the buy and hold and don't do anything with it strategy as well, and I gear it the right way to save a lot of money on tax.
So do you use negative gearing?
Absolutely, 110%.
See, you're going to think this is bad, but I get scared of negative gearing because I play in the positive realm because I feel comfortable there.
Sure.
Because my properties may go from positive to neutral,
Yes.
to a bit positive to neutral, but I'm never feeling like, oh my God, I've got to pay X amount of money because, as you know, in real estate, unemployed every month. But I can also structure my business to pay myself a very, very low wage, as you know, but that may be the wrong thing. It might just be me not being comfortable actually using it. It might not be me understanding it.
And I think on the accounting tax sort of space, right, you can pay yourself a low wage, and the more your business continues to thrive because of how well you're doing and how well you'll do in any market, the reality is you can only keep your wage so low, right? Because otherwise all the money gets captured in there in the business, and then you can't do anything with property, realistically. So the kind of, what I'm suggesting here is move more money out, right? You'll move money out in wages, in dividends, etc. through your business. You'll move more money out, but the way you're going to keep it reduced and lower at a tax rate positioning is by having negative gearing on the property. And that negative gearing doesn't have to be cash negative gearing. It could be cash positive, but negative gearing because of the depreciation on the property. And if you do that, you're also getting the equity increase and uplift across the multiple properties that you're investing in to get the best growth rate. So my point is, with your income, and I dare say, my friend, is it's going to continue to go up. That's how you're best to play the game, right? Is leverage the tax, man, leverage the finance, man, leverage your intellect with property. And if you play that really well, you will make a lot more money.
So do you think for somebody that's got no properties, they just got to focus on trying to get one? Like, is that what you would say?
I would do more than say. I would beg. Like,
anything you can do just to get one.
And that's not to say
that's the first play.
Absolutely.
You're listening to this. You're whatever age. You don't have a property.
Hustle, man. Like, and don't just hustle, right? Go get someone to hang around who knows property and who's bought property and who's not just a goose that's listening to other goose at the pub, right?
Yeah.
Go listen to a good chicken, right? And listen to how they do property, and make sure you're not getting a stupid biased opinion on how they do it, right? Maybe even have a couple of influences until you know the right influences, and then go get that property. And don't get a lemon, right? But go get yourself a property right now that the market is going to be much better to buy a property. And then I've seen it more often than not where you go, how good's that? I got that property that you really sort of pushed me into, and now it's made it's doubled its money in the last 3 years on the Central Coast, and now I can leverage that for another. I'm like, yeah, but you weren't going to do it. And it's like, that's what I'm saying. If I was that 20-year-old...
So even if they're like, I can only afford 500,000 or I can only afford 700,000 or whatever it is, just literally find the highest returning property in the best capital growth pocket for that amount of money.
I think there's two parts to that as an answer. There's part one, which is yes, and just go do that. The other part is, but I want to get to $1 million, right, on the coast so I can live in it tax-free, hypothetically make it look pretty, and then sell it for a good margin. That's okay as well, to hold out a bit longer and get yourself into that position. But if that becomes detrimental, like I've got to wait for 3 years then don't do that. Like,
I rent a one-bedroom studio. It cost me $400 a week.
That's smart play. That's smart play.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I think the negotiation is like, do the 500K thing, or get the 750, 800K thing, but don't make you have to wait until it's 2-3 years too late, and then you're back to where we were 6 months ago.
Can I ask you another question? You don't look like an ego-driven person at all, like with all flashy shit hanging off you. You probably got a nice car, I'm guessing. But were you in your 20s like a maniac with nice things, or have you always been smart enough to? Have you always?
There's an irony to it. Yes, I was like...
Because young people, naturally, like, I wish I could go and take back some years because it fucked me up hard trying to impress other people with stupid shit. Like, I drive a Toyota Hilux now. Yeah. I paid $65,000 for it. They called me the other day and said, do I want to sell it for 80? I'm like, how good's that? Yeah. Because there's no supply. So, yes. But I had the cars, this, that, and the other, hemorrhaging money out of my ass. I would earn 10 and spend 11. And, like, I feel like young people that start getting a bit of success, they just lean straight into that.
Yeah. So
you probably didn't because you watched it with, like, through the whole accounting years.
It's funny. I never really had...
Sorry, just one last question.
Yeah.
Do you have a wife and kids?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
So I'm trying to, like, put the picture of your life together in my head.
So let me just be completely transparent. I'll give you the 5 part. I've got a Range Rover out there, right? Mm-hmm. Materialistic car, nice car, right? How much did I pay for it? Paid about 50K for it. Now you're like, how'd you get a Range Rover 50K? It's got 100,000 Ks on it, right? So did I go out and buy a Range Rover that was 200K that would look the best? And no, it's an older Range Rover. It's a really good sound Range Rover with 100 clicks on the clock, right?
Yeah.
Why did I pay 50 grand for it? Because I know how to claim the whole of the 50 grand for tax. I know how to claim all the 5 grand for GST. It's end up going to cost me about 30K. It's actually going to cost me nothing in the first year. So I know how to structure that, right? But in terms of materialistic stuff, I bought that for quality reasons, believe it or not. I bought my wife's Audi for the same amount to claim the instant asset write-off, 50 grand, got paid more by the government than we paid in the first year. And why did I buy an Audi? Because it was a quality car. Okay, it was a German car, and it also had 80,000 Ks on it. Why 80,000 Ks on both those cars is because we're coasties. We don't drive around Sydney, Newcastle, and all the other places. So we can have a car for like 7 years, and it gets up to 150 clicks. So it's like that was a smart play for us. But yeah, I've never had a lot of money. That's the truth. I've always used any money I had to put it into property.
So you're asset rich, cash poor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with it. Like, and I'm okay with it.
So am I.
Yeah.
I have I like running on no money. Makes me hungrier.
Sure. And
I've got an emergency fund, obviously.
So I'm pretty hungry right now.
Yeah. That's good.
Go eat after this. But yeah, I'm the same, man. Like, I don't have a lot of cash hanging around.
So basically, your clientele would be anyone from. So if I had no property, but I could come in and meet with you and say, I'm 25, this is my situation, help me understand the next 5 years of my life, this is where I want to be at 30, and you'd be like, yep, got it, understand it, this is what I think you need to do if that's your goal at 30, and then you've got people coming in at 50 or 55 or 60 or whatever it is with $20 million, and you're tailoring something different for them. So do you have clientele from the top, the bottom, the whole way to the top?
Yeah, top to 50 mil. And I'll be honest, I love helping the guy that's 20 with his first property. I think it's a win. They're always wins. And then the person at 50 mil, you've got even more chance to help them because you've got so much more to play with and so much more to structure and so much more to leverage. So I think the excitement just gets better as you move up, you move through that timeline. Like I said, we've got mutual friends and mutual connections, and I've been lucky enough to be part of those journeys as well, and they're fulfilling. Like when you see whether it's real estate or whether it's wealth or whether it's them going hand in hand, which is more often than not, it's a beautiful feeling to see. I had a part of that result. Like we played a part in that, and that's the better than money feeling.
Have you made any big mistakes?
I made heaps of mistakes.
I know you've made heaps, but any that you've gone like...
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake, and that comes back to the second part of what I would say to a 20-year-old right now, is when I was in my 30s, sorry, I'm in my 30s now. When I was in my 20s, similar to yourself, I did have a big ego, and I had very little awareness of myself, and I was sort of more money materialistic driven, and when I made a mistake, which is when I left that big firm that I spoke about, I had dreams to go out and really pursue this business and really go out there as just hitting sort of 30. And I didn't back myself because I didn't have the self-awareness or the the personal development.
So did you fail in the beginning?
Man. I went,
I love that.
I'm out.
Not that I love you failing. I love
Thanks,
that you
man.
failed and now
But
you're here.
I did, and I turned into a bit of a hot potato for a while. Like, that's the truth. I lost my confidence. I just was like, no, I'm out, and I pretty much was out for a bit. I was out for about 6 months, and I'd lost.
Did you have the kids then?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
But my wife wanted one. We'd just been married, and she was like, I really want kids, and I was like, fuck.
Imagine if you had the kids, you'd have been like going, oh
bro.
my
But
God.
I was like that with our kids. I was like, I don't have enough wealth, right? I now don't have a partnership. I don't have a business. I don't have a house. I'm kind of like really like, fuck, what am I doing?
You just got to sink or swim, hey?
And I sank for a bit, and I remember, like, this is probably a bit graphic, but I remember just sitting in a bath, man, and I was like, I'm sitting there, and I was like, I've really fucked up. Like, this is cracker. I couldn't fuck up any harder if I tried. And I was just like, oh, shit. And then, man, the universe, like, I'm big on sort of universal stuff, and I feel like the universe started to align for me, and at that point, I really immersed myself in a lot of the golden sort of, you know, the personal development books. Like, there's just the basic stuff, Think and Grow Rich, and my mum's pretty spiritual, and I know Maddie's big.
Are you religious?
I'm religious.
Yeah.
I'm religious. But yeah, through that time, I just really immersed myself in a lot of the personal development stuff out there, and coaching, and really getting back on my feet. And I was back on my feet doing a lot of wealth planning within 6 months, 3 to 6 months, and I've stayed in that space for probably 6 years. Like, I really immersed myself in that space. And I think once you do that, I think that's the best thing you can do as a 20-year-old is don't go get on the piss all the time. Don't go popping pingers and doing all the other shit that they do. Like, and I think that's what you've done very well, is go surround yourself by guys that are very self-aware. You know, I know Maddie's very into the Esther Hicks stuff, similar to my mum, right? All about energy scales and whatnot. Go do that sort of stuff, because and you're the chief energy officer now, right? So go do that, and then you will make so much money. Materialism's not even going to matter to you, and you'll be around the right people that are in your energetic space. And I think that's the real stuff that gets you into property, is not going out and just trying to make money on property. I think it's working on yourself, so you're the best version of yourself, mentally and physically, so you can make so much money, and then you move it somewhere. And property is always the greatest vehicle.
That's true. I said to my brother's 18, he's a carpenter, and he's going to me, I want to earn more money. I want to own a business one day. They don't do me this. I never get the shifts on the Saturday. And I'm like, all you need to do is just be the best carpenter you physically can be. That's it. Like, there's 20 people on the job site, the yes man, the guy that stays back, the guy that works hard. Don't ask about your pay. It'll naturally come. The higher your value is, the more they'll pay you. I've never asked for a pay rise ever, but I'm constantly earning more money because as I become more valuable to the business, and I'd never leave, I'm that loyal, but I respect how the company, especially Matt, has treated me, but it just happens. It starts with yourself, hey, doesn't it?
Like you saying what you said before, and you're like, it's a Friday night, my mates are all on the piss, they're at the pub, they're going out, and you're prepping yourself for that auction the next day. That's so much greater than money. Like, I just got hairs turn up on my chest. And that stuff is not for money, man. That stuff is like to make an imprint. Like, that stuff is to really make a difference. That's why you succeed.
You got to make a choice. I made a choice. I'm going to be the best real estate agent, like, on the coast, like, at a young age. Awards are great, but like, I actually just want to beat everybody. Like, I want to walk out of a listing presentation and be walking past an agent, and they're like, oh, far out, Jordan was just in there. Like,
you don't seem to do it though. You seem like you want to compete, you want to dominate, you want to win, but you don't seem arrogant either. Like, you seem like you're also...
No, I talk to everybody. I'm good friends with all the agents. Like, I'll be like, good luck in there, boys.
Yeah.
Like, I'm having fun with it, but I also want to win. And if I lose, I'm like, mate, well done, you beat me. But
how do I be better?
Yeah. I do know, in the beginning, I used to get really nervous in listing presentations. Like, I'd go up, but Tim Andrews is a very, very good agent. There's a lot of good agents in the area that have been around for a long time. I used to get really nervous, and I trained on my listing presentation for 2 years. If somebody filmed it and we could play it back, unbelievable. 4 a.m, like just talking to a wall, like objections. And at night, and Matt spent hours and hours and hours with me. John McGrath, like every bit in my business that I didn't feel like was at that level, I just for years just like got it better and better and better. I don't lose many listings anymore. Like even against some experienced people, I've worked the process out, but it's come from time. Like you know how to manage money better than anyone else. You have to do it. I still say things now and I go, shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
As soon as I get off the phone, like I see the person's emotion change, whether it's negotiating a deal, I hang up and I'm like, shouldn't have said that. But if I never said it, I wouldn't have put it in the tool belt.
Yeah.
Like the next time I go, don't say that, Geordie. Naughty. Remember last time?
Well, but that's good that you do that. You instead of going, oh, it was them, like that they're not right for us, that we don't want to work with them, and having the very egoic response, you're obviously like, which is very surprising, like at your age, you're so aware to go, what can I take as a learning? Like, how could I be better? How could I be different? How has that come about for you? Because a lot of people don't do that. They react. So they react to that, and their reaction is usually pointing the finger at something else but themselves. Whereas you can look at yourself and go, how can I be better? How can I change that? How can I get a better outcome? What's that stimulated from?
Well, when I was growing up, my thing was surfing. Like I was professionally surfing. Around everywhere, the whole country. I went everywhere.
Yeah, good.
16, I moved out, various reasons with my family, and from then on, I had no choice. It was like survival mode. I had to just survive. I didn't speak to my family for a while.
Okay.
Great now. Like my mum, my nan, I adore and love more than anything in the whole world. Yeah. It was funny. I was walking in. I was thinking, she calls me at 8 o'clock every morning. She's 97 now.
Oh wow!
And I thought, if she calls in the podcast, I'm just going to have to say, just keep it rolling. Yeah. Like say, morning, Cookie, I love you, rah, rah. Yeah. But I think it's probably come from surfing competitively, like because I was fourth in Australia at like 14.
Wow.
Yeah. But I did that, I trained just as hard for surfing as I did. I had coaches, this, that, and I was passionate about it. I loved it. It just naturally become that. I never went out to be the best surfer. I just liked surfing. My nan lived on the beach. That's how it all come. But at 16, I stopped. I don't surf much anymore. I'm getting back into golf. But that mentality, I think it's come from that. But I've had very good mentors. Like John McGrath I think is got to be one of the best real estate agents, if not real estate owners in the country. And he spent a lot of time with me. Matt spent a lot of time with me. Trevor spent a lot of time with me. I've just been blessed to have them people around me. But I started with Matt as a letterbox dropper. Hey mate, can you heat my lunch up? Yep, no problem. Boom. Hey mate, I've got a flat tire. Can you come and swap cars and change the tire? Yep, no problem. That's how it started for me. Like I didn't just here's all the resources, here's all the training. We're gonna spend all of these hours trying to train you. I earned that space from at least 3 years or 4 of earning zero money and working every single hour of the day. I remember walking to my best mate's 25th birthday, I think it was that time. I'm walking in, I'm like, on a Saturday, I still didn't do much. Matt calls me and said, mate, we're pitching for a listing. I need you to drive a proposal down to Sydney. I remember walking in and walking out. And I thought, like, some people would go, I never let me do anything. But I was like, this is it. Like, this is what you do to become the best. And even Matt now, I say to him, mate, can I do anything right? Like I said, you're always chipping away at me for stuff. He goes, do you think a world champion athlete's coach goes, you're the best, you got nothing to improve on? Good for you. We're not going to talk about anything that you need to change because you're just phenomenal. He goes, they don't. We all know you're good, but you need to keep tweak this, tweak that, tweak this, tweak that. That's hard for me emotionally, I reckon, because I hate feeling like I'm not good. But Matt's been very good at I guess being able to deliver it over the years. In the beginning, I'd just pull my sword out what? Like in 2 seconds, triggered, like it's on. But now I'm like, yep, I can process that. It's funny, like growing a business, as you know, like it's every year it's so different, very different. But what's the alternative? I think.
So I think what I'm picking up there is, from the surfing days, you had a good attitude, like you had a winning attitude, you had a competitive streak in you, and I think you have been to an extent blessed as well with your mentors, right? That you've been able to couple the surfing with good coaches as you're growing up in your teens, and then you've been able to couple your desire to create wealth and help people in property with really good mentors as well. And I think that's as easy as it can be. Like it is. It's have the right attitude, put yourself in the best place. And I think that comes down to whether you're buying property or in any situation, you're just trying to succeed. Make sure your attitude's on check, and then go and surround yourself with the best people to help you on that journey. And I think that's where a lot of people get unstuck that would be watching this, is they're like, surround myself with the right people. They'll go and surround themselves with the right people, and then their attitude's going to stink. They'll expect everything overnight, and they won't last. Or they'll have a really good attitude and want to win, and they'll try and stay consistent there, but they won't have anyone surrounded by to actually lead them on the way.
They come into your life, the people. Like I've got a quick story. I'm buying a Ferrari at some point in my life, whether it's like...
I said the same thing yesterday. I said, I'm buying a Ferrari, and Andrew goes, you said you'd never buy a Ferrari. I've got you saying that you're not materialistic and you'd never buy a Ferrari. It's like, but if I made 100 million... I'd buy a Ferrari just as a sentimental token that I made 100 million. Would that be okay? So
see, I like nice things. I'm going to be really honest. I like nice things. I want to live in a nice house. I want to drive a nice car. I want to be able to do what I want with money. I had no money, and I hated the feeling of it. Like, I think having no money is hard. Trying to earn money is hard. Being overweight is hard. Trying to be fit is hard. Like, choose your hard. I just prefer to be fit, hard, have money, hard, like build a business, hard. Everything's hard.
And sometimes
just choose what hard you want.
You get to enjoy the hardness. There's nothing wrong with that. Like sometimes I'll be doing a big run and I'll just sit there and I go, this feels pretty shit.
But as soon as you finish, you're like, oh,
how
man,
good is this? And you're peaking, you know, if you get punched in the face, it's the same deal. If you, whatever it is, if you get up at 2 a.m, like, which I do as well. Like I sit there and I go, this is hard, but it feels good. Like you can enjoy the hardness. Like 75 hard, there's got a program on it, right? It is freaking hard, but it's so good at the same time. Like that hardness feels so great because you wake up, you're not hungover, you get to train, you feel great, you eat good food, you don't feel like shit. Like the hard is good.
The hard is the best.
Pleasure.
Do you see David Goggins said that thing? He said, every day I do one thing that sucks.
Yeah.
And that's his only non-negotiable out of the day. Yeah. I do one thing that sucks. Yeah. Might be 1,000 chin-ups. That guy's a freak.
But it feels so good.
Yeah.
That's the irony, is it hurts so much for a small amount of time and it feels so great for such a long time after. That's what I've always found ironic is you go and do something hard for 6 minutes, like really uncomfortable. Like if you don't do cold calls and you do 6 minutes of cold calls that you really don't want to do, you land one deal or one relationship or one anything from that 6 minutes, you go away, then for the next 6 hours, you're going to feel pretty good about it. And that's the exchange. It's like a little bit for a lot.
I know you've got to finish up soon, but quick question for you. Where are you in 10 years, do you think? Like what's
me in 10 years, I believe it and I'm going to do everything it takes to get there. Me in 10 years is $100 million business. Like I have said that to myself so many times and I'm starting to say that to so many people and they laugh at me and go, how the hell are you going to run $100 million business? I love business. I love growing businesses. I'm so in that space that I'm going to create a business that's that powerful, that moving for that many people that it will generate $100 million. That's me. I'm going to keep the property game alive. I love property. I love developing. I love doing that. So that will just continue to grow forever and I'll continue to align myself with guys doing that. But ultimately, I want to make sure in 10 years we're making such a difference. It's not the 100 million that's going to matter. It's the multitude of people that we're actually going to significantly make them money along the way that's going to matter. So, yeah, it's to touch a lot of people, and that will be the benchmark.
You'll do it.
Yeah.
I tell you what's cool. We'll look back at this, and you'll be like at a seminar coaching people on how to build a $100 million business, and you'll be like, look at this clip from the podcast we did.
Yeah.
In September 2022.
Absolutely. And
with Jordan Bulmer.
Absolutely. And I flip the question now. I flip the question to you, mate. Where are you? You're 27 now, right? You're destroying it. You're killing it. You're doing great. You're just warming up, really. But you, like I said to you before, you can beat all the old men because that's kind of the young bull, right?
Yeah.
And you've got everything on your side to do so. Everything, energy, time, money, you name it. Where are you in... where are you when you're my age, which is 36? So you've
36.
effectively got 9 years from now, which is similar to my 10 years. Where are you in 9 years when you're my age at 36? 27 now.
I'll be the number one agent in Australia, and I'll be the highest shareholder in McGrath Central Coast if it plays out that way, or I'll be the director of my own company. Yeah. I said to Matt, I've got 5 more years of being told what to do, I reckon, and then I'm out of there.
Yeah. So then you won't just be the chief energy officer.
No, I'll be the real CEO.
You'll be the chief executive
I think
officer.
it's a natural progression. I'm completely happy to stay right beside Matt's side for as if he did 20 more years in real estate, I'm right behind him for 20 more years because I've made that commitment to him. But I don't think he is. I think he's 5 or 10 years max, which would leave me at about the passing the baton over, which would be an honour to carry his business on.
Yeah.
If it does roll that way, but we'll see. 10 years is a long time.
I'm very confident, mate. Very, very confident. So I'd say we'll touch base in 9 years. We'll jump on the podcast, but I dare say it'll be a lot sooner than that, mate. This has been too much fun to wait until that long.
Thanks for having me. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks,
appreciate it.
That's why you're the energy officer, bro. Fucking hell. I'll come work for you.